All right, good afternoon. It is Thursday, November. No,
November?
November.
It's
How
not
about
November.
February?
How about
I wish it was November. It was warmer. So it is Thursday, February 18th, just around 1 o'clock.
It is.
And I'm Dr. Dave.
I'm Amy.
And we're here at Shores Wellness Solutions, the Natural Health and Wellness Center, to bring you an amazing workshop today.
Look at that. Creating a healthy and strong you.
Yeah.
What does that even mean?
I don't know.
Anyway.
Actually, I do know.
You do?
I reviewed the workshop for today,
look at
so I'm prepared. Yep.
Yeah. Well, we've been having a lot of people talk to us struggling with just how to be healthier, how to lose weight, what things they need to be eating, what they need to be doing, and how to do that. So we're actually going to talk a little bit today about how you can be the best you possible so you feel your best, you can do your best, right?
Mm-hmm.
Anything you want to add to that?
Not yet.
All right.
Surprise.
Wow. So we're going to jump in. If you're like most people, you have more than just a better checkup in mind when you're thinking about losing weight. Maybe you're avoiding the mirror because you just really don't like what you see. You don't have the energy to keep up with your kids, your grandkids, your dog is running around, and you just don't even feel like getting off the couch to get moving. But you need to figure out what is it that will trigger your decision to help you lose the weight that you're looking to lose, start eating healthier the way that you're wanting to. And so it's really important to figure out, what is your why of getting healthy in the first place?
What's your why? Because it's easy to say, well, I want to lose weight. Okay, great. But I always recommend, don't say how much you want to lose. Pick a target weight that you want to be. And then, of course, there's people who say, well, I'm not going to step on the scale. I just want to lose so much weight. But you want to target. You have to have a goal to work towards. Because if you want to lose 20 pounds, you can lose 5 and gain it back 4 times and you lose 20 pounds. It's just not all at once. And so always pick a target. But what is your why? Well, I want to weigh, if you weigh 200 pounds and you say, well, I want to weigh 150. Okay, that's great. But why do you want to weigh 150? And that's something we always ask our patients, regardless of what their health care goal is. The question is, why do you want to do that?
Right. It's important to have that why in place because why do you want to hit the goal that you're looking for? And when you can define that, it's going to make it a lot easier when you set your goal up for what you're looking for to keep that goal. And we're going to talk about some other strategies in place to help you to get on the right path to getting the results that you're looking for.
So hopefully it is about more than just fitting into a smaller size. Hopefully it's about getting into shape and getting into what I like to say is a fitness. Right. Because we can get somebody into shape, they might look good, but they're not really fit, which means they may not really be healthy. And so it's more about a fitness than a shape.
Right. And so once you find your why for living a healthier lifestyle, it's really important to actually take some time to write down all your reasons, from the very obvious reasons to, hey, I'll look better or I'll feel better, to some of the
fit to my closet full of clothes.
What closet full of clothes?
I don't have one.
Or the not so obvious, and you should read them daily. You want to ask yourself, how will my life be different on a daily, yearly, and long-term basis if I lose this weight? How much more will I accomplish? How much money will I save on doctor's visits and medications? What can my family and I do with the money? How much better will I feel physically and emotionally? These are some of the questions you want to really sit down and think about and write them out and read those every day to help keep you motivated and wanting to achieve the goals that you're looking to set in place.
So here's a little example of that, right? What you just talked about. People want to buy the cheapest food in the store. But what if you spent $30 extra a week? And I know right now you're going, oh, geez, to find $30 extra a week, don't go out one night per week, or go out one night less. But if you can find $30 extra a week to spend on healthier choices of food in the store, over the course of a year, that's $1,500. Oh, that takes $1,500 away from my household income. Follow me on this, okay? If you do that for years and become healthier, one of the ways is through diet, and you become healthier, the chances of you developing diabetes as you age lessens. Well, what does that have to do with what we're talking about? Well, it costs on average $1,600 a month to afford your diabetic medication. So 1 year of eating healthy is 1 month of diabetic medication. So if you eat healthy or healthier for, let's say, 20 years, that's going to buy you a lot of months where you're not going to be spending that $1,600 for diabetic medication.
Another huge benefit in creating a healthier body to live in is that you're going to reduce your chances of developing something called metabolic syndrome. And we're going to talk about that a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
It's a cluster of risk factors that over half of Americans have over the age of 40, and they're diagnosed with that. And so we're going to talk about all those factors, why, if you have any of those factors, we really need to work on eliminating them because they do cause a lot of ill health.
And this is the perfect month to be talking about this because this is February. It is February. Heart Health Month. And that's why we're talking about it.
Yep.
And understand that with cardiovascular disease, some of the things we'll be talking about are related to cardiovascular disease, of which if we go back in time to 1900, less than 1% of the American population suffered from cardiovascular disease. Now, 2020, 2021, it's over 50%. And cardiovascular disease claims an American life every 38 seconds. It's the #1 killer. And the sad part, it's preventable.
It's preventable.
And that's what we're going to teach you today.
So what is metabolic syndrome? Metabolic syndrome isn't a disease, but it's a group of risk factors that increase your risk of several diseases. 5 risk factors are considered when diagnosing metabolic syndrome, but only 3 factors need to be present for a positive diagnosis. So one of those things is high blood pressure, high fasting triglycerides, which
Triglycerides are one of the lipids in a lipid panel.
Yep.
And the best way to increase your triglycerides is just keep eating fruit. And I know you say, but fruit's supposed to be healthy. Yes, it is, but not a lot of fruit. A piece, maybe 2 a day, depending on your vegetable intake. And so lower the fruit if your triglycerides are high. That alone will start making a big difference.
having a low HDL cholesterol is another risk factor.
May I?
Yeah.
HDL cholesterol, I know that they call it the good cholesterol. There's no good and bad cholesterol, and HDL is not cholesterol. It's a high density lipoprotein. What HDL does is it brings used cholesterol from your body back to your liver to be reprocessed or excreted. And so it's a transport mechanism to bring the cholesterol out of the system, which is neither good or bad, it just is. Because when things are used up and done, get rid of it. And that's what the HDL does.
Yeah.
But you want that higher, I'm sorry.
That's all right. Another risk factor is high fasting blood glucose, insulin resistance, which we've been talking a lot about this month, and abdominal obesity.
Yeah, and with the high fasting blood glucose, you know, we know there's 2 types of diabetes, maybe a third, but 2 types that we know of, type 1 and 2. And that's a sugar handling issue where the body can't bring the blood sugars down, which then depletes us of B vitamins, which then leads to the #1 cause of morbidity with diabetes, which is heart failure, because you don't have the B vitamins. And so that's why it's important to make sure it's under control. But drugs, even though they lower the sugar, don't restore the B vitamins. They just make us sicker unknowingly.
Another thing you want to know, if you have just one of these risk factors, it also lowers your immune system. And so it lowers your immune system and you have the inability to fight off viruses. So it's really important to pay attention to these things and making sure that if you are currently experiencing any of these 5 things that we're talking about, you work on getting those corrected because you are lowering your immune system in addition to, you know, risk factors for disease.
So what are the consequences of unchecked metabolic syndrome?
Well, people with metabolic syndrome have a risk of heart attack and stroke that is double the risk of people who do not have metabolic syndrome. That's just one of them. Another one is you increase your risk in developing diabetes by 5-fold. That's huge. If diabetes develops, then you may be at risk for eye damage, nerve damage, kidney disease, and also can have the possibility of limb amputation as well. So that's a big one.
Huge, right? And so getting your blood sugars under control are really important. And it's better to take the time to do it now before it becomes a problem. And if it's become a problem, well, let's start working on it together to help reduce that.
Another issue that can develop include the hardening of the arteries, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, and peripheral artery disease. So all these things affect the heart, which it's very easy to combat.
And I know that that these are all preventable and reversible through lifestyle habits.
Yes. So we're going to talk about a little bit of that. Abdominal obesity, or the visceral fat, is the most obvious clue to metabolic syndrome. So if you have that or experiencing that, that's one of your first clues. Risk factors tend to cluster, and visceral fat, which wraps around the abdominal organs, causes insulin resistance.
So what most people don't see as somebody's gaining weight, they say, okay, all right, clothes are a little tighter, maybe they're a little bigger. But what we don't see is what's happening internally. Internally, fat is just surrounding the organs, pushing them out, not out of the body, but pushing them out of the way and taking up space and making it harder for your organs to work, particularly the heart. I mean, start filling up the space around the heart with fat, and the heart now has to beat harder because there's pressure around it from that visceral fat.
And by that as well, it also lowers your immune system as well. So now you're more susceptible to other things. So it's really important to get that under control. Now you're probably talking about wanting to know, what is insulin anyway, and why do I need to be concerned about that? I mean, we've been talking about that a lot if you've been watching our videos. We've been sharing a little bit of clippets on that. But what exactly is insulin anyway?
May I?
You may.
It is a hormone that is produced by your pancreas in the aisles of Langerhans, the beta cells, to actually help lower sugar. And how does it lower sugar? Insulin actually opens up the channels in the cells so sugar can enter.
As a result, your blood sugar levels rise as your body turns and more insulin tries to lower your blood sugar. Eventually, the pancreas may wear out from working overtime and may no longer be able to produce enough insulin to keep blood sugar levels in check. So it's really important to get that under control.
And if we go back to the stats about cardiovascular disease 120 years ago, people ate on average, Americans that is, about 5 pounds of sugar per year. Now, the estimates are 240 pounds of sugar per year now. And so that's just like, take your pancreas out, put it on the ground, stamp on it a few times and put it back in and expect it to work. It's just not going to happen. It's just way too much sugar in the body. I had a consultation with a young man this morning, and I'm looking over his food logs, and he did a brilliant job filling them out. And so if he's listening to this brilliant job, I'm not going to give away who it is, but anyway, he did. It was just amazing. And I commented on that. I said, but let's go over it. We got through one day. Sugar, 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 sugar. Breakfast was Cheerios, apple juice, something else, and a piece of fruit. I mean, it was just all sugar. And I said, look, this is all sugar. Oh, and almond milk. So that was good. Unsweetened almond milk. But it was all sugar. And lunch, all sugar. And dinner, all sugar. And then I said to him, you're affecting your hormonal system. And he says to me, how do you know? I said, well, you have these symptoms. You have some acne going on. You have some depression. You have some anxiety going on. These are hormonal imbalances. I said, and the reason you hired me, or why they hire us, is to help them get back to hormonal balance and out of these symptoms that they're experiencing.
Oh, so what is your excuse? Everyone has excuses for not living their ideal healthy lifestyle. I don't have enough time to exercise or to prepare my meals or to do the right things that I need to do. My job doesn't make it possible. I need to talk to my boss. I don't have enough time to get everything that I need to do because I work so much, right? I can't afford a healthy lifestyle. I don't know how to be healthy. These are all things that put limiting factors on us not getting the success or the results that we're looking for.
Well, the pressure's off. We're getting to the later half of February. I got the month right.
Look at that.
And our New Year's resolutions have been shot down for the last several weeks. The pressure's off. So now's the time to start saying, okay, I still have 10 and a half months to really work on my health and start improving it for the year. So what are some great things to do? First, stop with the excuses. Otherwise, remember, you're going to work so hard till you retire, and then you're going to spend all the money that you've accumulated until retirement on trying to get your health back.
Right.
Stop it. That's insane.
But it's also important to identify what are the true barriers
Right.
that are causing you to make the excuses in the first place. Maybe you have feelings of non-self-worth, lack of self-love, poor mental health. A lot of things can be playing a role in what's making you make those excuses, because we all have the same 24 hours in a day. So why is it some people make time to exercise or to prepare their food and do things where others don't seem to have that same time? And so you really need to figure out what is the underlying reason that you have these excuses, and why are you not wanting to make the changes that are necessary in order to live your best life? And we're going to talk about a few ways that you can kind of help work through those barriers and get you on the right track so you can start getting the results that you're looking for.
You know, a little over 25 years ago, I was getting a bit doughy around the center.
Doughy? Where?
That's right.
What?
And so I'm in the office working with a patient, and he says, you know, you just need to exercise. Patient telling me, right?
Look at that.
And I said to him, my excuse, I don't have time. I have a business, a household, 3 little kids, a spouse, you know, 2 dogs, all this stuff. And he looked at me and he said, there's always time if you want to. He said, do you take a shower in the morning? I said, yes, I do. He said, great, while the water is heating up, he said, you know, march in place for a few seconds or do 10 push-ups or something. And I went, huh. And so that's when my real journey began permanently back then.
And I think sometimes people think, oh, well, I have to put aside an hour at one time to go work out or do whatever. But kind of like you said, you don't have to be like, oh, I need all this in one time of the day or whatever. You know, do a little something when you have a moment. If you're watching a TV show because that's what you really need to do, not that we like to watch TV, but if that's something you do, you know, so take 10 minutes, you know, as your show's starting or whatever, and do some squats, do a few things that will get you going, and then sit down and watch your show. But you can always add it in. Take 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there. Park a little bit farther away so you have a little more walking distance between the car and the place that you're going to.
Creating movement.
Exactly. Use the stairs instead of the elevator. There are things you can do on a daily basis that you can get your body moving and doing things. It's not just, oh, I have to schedule this appointment at the gym and I don't have time to get there because you just spent a half hour driving there and a half hour driving back. You can do a lot of things just in your home as well, even as we're not going out and about places. All right.
Making positive lifestyle choices.
Yeah.
So, like a smoker. Smoker wants to quit. They're a pack-a-day person. That's 20 cigarettes. What does it take to smoke a cigarette? I don't know, 3-5 minutes? So let's say it's 3 minutes and you're a pack a day. That's an hour a day that you're smoking a cigarette. So how do you convert that? Because you have to change habits. You can't just drop it, right? So when you feel like smoking, you know, drop down and give me 50. No.
We did have someone who used to do that. Every time they wanted to smoke,
3 minutes of exercise.
Yeah, they were like, you know, I really am wanting a cigarette. So they would actually go down and they would do, 5 push-ups or whatever it was they could do.
3 minutes of crunches.
You know, they would sit and do that instead and take their mind off it. So it was another way of just changing what they were originally doing to make it a healthier choice.
And she ended up with an hour of exercise just about every day.
Right, throughout the day. And it wasn't all at one time.
3-minute increments throughout the day. So an hour of exercise throughout the day. And here it is now, almost 3 decades later, she's still not smoking. I love that habit choice.
That's a great one. All right. So food, people always have, a lot of times people have an emotional connection to food. It brings back emotions, it brings back memories. Everyone, has cake for birthdays. So it's not really about, oh, we need to celebrate with a cake. It's just been tradition for so long that that's what everyone thinks. Oh, I have to have cake. I have to do those kinds of things. So there's always a big tie with food and, our food choices are always the best when it comes to those kinds of connections.
And for my birthday, I like carrots.
Of course you do. in a cake form, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yes. So when you're feeling stressed, what do? Do you eat more food?
Mm-hmm.
Do you not eat food? Do you go for unhealthy choices? If you're feeling sad, there's always like a connection with food. And so really part of your journey is deciding why you make the food choices that you do. Is it a conscious choice? Do you do it because you've always done it and you don't know any different? And you need to figure out a different way to understand where those food connections are coming from, so you can actually change and make better choices. And we don't have to just do it because we've always done it.
So if I'm hearing you correctly, you're saying take back the power that you've given food over you.
Exactly.
Awesome.
Look at that. All right. So another thing, we all know that making changes in life is very difficult. And it's even more difficult when you don't have support. So it is important.
Find the support that you need.
Yeah, so when you're trying to improve your health, it's very important that you have a sense of accountability, someone or something to provide you with confidence that you need and to keep you on the right track, helping you understand like, hey, oh, it was really great. I see that you were able to do this today. Or you have a spouse or somebody who's living there. Oh, I love that you've made these healthy dinners, I'm enjoying these. What can I do to help you with that? It also helps you to create a healthy lifestyle with everyone and get everyone else on board. So it really is nice when you can have an accountability partner. And here, that's why I think a lot of people come and seek care with us, because we're with you the entire time, kind of holding your hand and helping you with those food choices, helping you add more water or more vegetables into your diet, helping you increase your energy, and knowing that as your body's healing, we're there with you to help you along your journey. So we're not there to criticize. We're there to help you where you are and help you make those changes. And we have a whole family here that is willing. Everyone kind of helps each other. So it's a really great thing to have a support system to help you to get the results that you need, especially if you're not really sure where to begin or what you need to do to get started.
And besides that support with accountability, it goes beyond food. It goes to lifestyle habits, exercise, as we mentioned earlier, and also sleeping. Because a lot of times those are the three main key habits that we need to help somebody recreate or regenerate in order to get back to a healthy lifestyle.
Right. So let's talk for just a moment about determining your ideal body weight, because a lot of people have misconceptions about what is the perfect weight, what isn't, what makes you healthy. And it's not just a number on the scale that makes you healthy, because there's a lot of people who have a good number on the scale and are very, very sickly. So we're going to talk a little bit about how do you determine your best weight and how do you figure out that formula?
Yeah, so I don't want to give away what the formula is for what the insurance companies consider a healthy weight.
Well, that's a little bit different, yeah.
And the reason for that is because everybody is so different. When these charts were made, they didn't take into account fitness of today. They took into account, being thin, and that was it. And just as you said, we have to go past that. And so we have to shift more towards not just weight, but also health. As you
Are you
said,
putting the right nutrients in your body?
And happiness. Because you can get somebody who is of ideal body weight, but they're just totally miserable and depressed, and that's not a healthy person. And so health is so much more than just a number on the scale. Okay, and that's something that I think we need to recognize as a culture and as a society, that it's just so much more than that.
So we're going to help you too. You need to eliminate foods that are not serving you. And people say, well, it was convenient. I need to have it. Rice cakes?
Rice cakes don't serve anything. It's a
Wait.
very crunchy.
Oh, I'm like, is that a thing? Okay,
Yes.
Well, if it comes in a box,
Uh-huh.
a can, a microwavable bowl, you can bet it's loaded with preservatives, additives, and extra sugar.
Right.
So it's really helpful to keep in mind that you want to, when you're shopping, do the outside perimeter of the grocery store.
Gosh, I have been teaching that. We have been teaching that for decades.
Foods in the middle aisles are often found with the ingredients that you want to avoid, including added sugars. So go to the outside. If you were looking to lower inflammation and insulin and things like that, reducing your risk of diabetes, you want to get the fruits and vegetables. Start from the outside of the store. Stay away from the center, because those are all things that are going to have the things that you don't want to put into your body that are going to make you sicker.
And there is one exception.
What's that?
Beans.
Beans?
Beans are.
Well, because they come in a
bad
bag that you soak,
Right.
right? Yeah, I guess that is true.
That's
I wonder.
the only exception.
You know, we should have to go to the grocery stores and see if they can move that to the outside. Right?
But that's the only exception.
Exactly. There you go. All right. So, how do you nourish your bodies with the right foods? What are the right foods to be nourishing your body?
I gotta sneeze. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was like, he's
Sorry.
leaving. He says, I'm done. I'm out.
No.
That's what I heard. I was like, oh, we want to.
Well, goes back to, what are you bringing in the house? So are you shopping the perimeter of the stores for the produce, for the meats, for the certain dairies that you might use? But you want to shop the perimeter of the store. That's the best way to nourish your body. If you're bringing in foods of commerce, aka I always called it white trash, if you're bringing that into your house and serving that to yourself and your family, you are promoting the inflammation, you are promoting the heart disease, you are promoting the cardiovascular disease. And so it's not always an easy task to change, particularly if you have a family that's used to eating one way. But I always recommend patients, and also to people that are viewing this, pick one thing to change.
Start with
Start
small
with one.
changes first.
So I can remember years ago when my kids didn't eat too many vegetables, when they were about knee-high to a grasshopper, and we started giving them baby
How would you like this big?
Yeah, I know, baby carrots. But their mom would load it with brown sugar. But each week when she served it, there was less and less sugar. Served it, I think it was about 3-4 months, started serving it without sugar. So because why? They were used to eating the sugar. But as we cooked it each week, less and less, and over the course of 3 or 4 months, the sugar was out. And those are the things that you can do. If you're used to serving something that has a lot of sugar in it, or a lot of bad salt, then what you want to do is just slowly reduce that, and that'll help the palate change.
And there's a lot of things as you start changing that, even when you have families, you know, potato chips and things like that. Start making like kale chips or sweet potato. You can actually make those nice and crunchy in the oven. You know, start switching things out like that. For a snack, you don't have to have a huge bowl of cookies. You can have some vegetables and hummus, or try a couple different types and let your kids experiment and have fun trying different things and doing the different dips and things that are healthy. Because as you start doing it, you'll find they'll start asking for it. They'll feel better. Everyone has more energy. They're not wild and crazy because they're doped up on sugar. So that's, you know, just some simple things that you can start doing and implementing, you know, throughout your daily life. And we always say start with one. You know, you don't have to change everything at once, but start with one thing.
Journey of 1,000 steps begins with one.
Exactly.
And, you know, find an activity you enjoy. When we get back into movement, what do you enjoy? You know, if you're a couch potato, that's okay. Some people are. But every time a commercial comes on, instead of flipping the station, you know, get up and just march in place or walk in place for those few minutes, or get on the floor and do some crunches or something till the commercial's done. It's find ways to find movement. And you can also make it a game with your kids, you know, or your spouse, to see, you know, who can do more crunches during that 3-minute commercial.
Right. Exercise also, moving your body every day. For one, your body was designed to move. So our body, maybe like that.
Hey.
Some people have more smooth moves than others, but that's okay. But your body is designed to move. And by moving your body, it helps to improve hormone levels. It helps to decrease depression, helps to minimize the risk of chronic diseases, boost your immune system. So there are a lot of benefits that you can do. And it's just simple. Like I said before, park your car a little bit farther from the door so you can walk a little bit.
Take a walk around nature.
Take the stairs. Add those little things in between when you have a few moments. There's a lot of things you can add in throughout the day so it doesn't seem overwhelming, but you're still
You can dance to music that makes you happy. You can lift weights. You can do yoga. You can create a monthly challenge for yourself where you're working on moving a little bit more each day.
Something I was thinking about, if you're watching this, and we were talking about doing kind of a motivational challenge, a lot of our patients have been asking about that, wanting to have a little bit of support with other people, like, hey, how do we get started? What are we doing? If that's something that you'd be interested in, make sure you put it in the comments. Let us know that you would be interested in a motivational challenge. We were looking at having some classes in the office, things that people can kind of get together and do.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously in the summer, we wanted to do yoga, on the beach, and we have some great instructors for that. But if that's something you'd be interested in a challenge group or something to kind of help you get on the right track of eating better and being motivated to moving and having that accountability each day, put a message in the comments, let us know, reach out to us. So if that's something we have enough people who are interested, we'll get a group started and we can do that as well. Are you prioritizing your sleep?
I'm trying to.
This one does. Hits his head on the pillow and is snoring in about 3 seconds.
Sleep is what we call nature's nurse because the body does so much healing while you're sleeping. Not only the brain, but also the rest of the body. And we know the best time to go to sleep is before 11 p.m. because from 11 to 1, gallbladder is working on recovering and restoring. From 1 to 3, it's the liver. And from 3 to 5, it's the lungs. And those 3 organs are very important for repairing and recovering while you're sleeping in that fashion. And if you miss one, I'm going to go to bed at midnight or 1, gallbladder's not repairing and recovering, therefore the liver can't, therefore the lungs can't. And so it's so important to make sure cyclically that you're getting to bed at a reasonable hour. And besides, with DVRs and stuff today, what's really on late that you really have to blow off sleep to watch? Nothing. Record it and watch it in the morning.
And if you're like me, who doesn't lay down and crash in 5 seconds, it's important to put together a bedtime ritual that's going to help you get in the mode of relaxation.
I can help you with that.
You want to try to go to bed at the same time every night, wake up around the same time every day, avoid sugar and caffeine before bedtime, have some tea or warm water instead. You want to turn off your overhead lights an hour before you go to sleep so you're starting to prepare your body for rest. If you're in your house, all the lights are on and it's, super bright, it's going to be harder for your body to start getting into that mode of rest and relaxation. So just have a little lamp on, start dimming your lights, turn off the extra lights and things like that, because it's really crucial for you to have optimal health by getting that rest that you need.
And give up the screen time about an hour before bedtime. That makes a big difference too when that blue screen's not flashing at you the whole time.
Helps to boost the immunity, helps with our mood, and so many more things. And I know we talk about this all the time, but one of the biggest things is to minimize stress.
Yes.
Right? It's probably the hardest thing to do, especially with the world these days.
It is.
It's definitely challenging. It's not easily measured,
Can't be measured by reps or miles or hours. And stress is a silent danger that actually leaks into your life. It does. And it allows unhealthy habits to sneak in as well. After hour work drinks can happen.
Because let's be real, doesn't that sound better than, oh, I'm so stressed out, I've been like crazy all day long, let me go running or sit down and have a cocktail. Most people are going to say, oh, I don't want to think about anything, I'm going to do that. But we have to pay attention to that because those negative habits can sneak in very quickly, and then you're changing and sabotaging all of your health.
A candy bar is so much easier than a bunch of vegetables, and so you can be pushed aside when there's a big work deadline that's on the line. And so we have to really recognize the fact that, our bodies are only as strong as we'll make them. And so what is level of importance with certain things, and prioritize. And maybe if we start getting regular sleep, reducing our stress, it'll make it easier to hit the deadline so we don't have to burn the midnight oil.
It is. And it is very challenging to do because we're like, oh, I got to get this done. I got to get this done. I got to get this done. But it's also just as important to remember that you and your body is important, because if you're not healthy and you're sickly because of it, you're never going to get any of those things done. Right? All right. So how do we stay motivated? We talked a little bit about different
I
things
wake
we
up
can
and I
do.
don't have to dig through 6 feet of dirt. I am motivated to go.
Exactly.
I was granted another day on earth to do and give it 100%.
Yes. So as we go back to the beginning, this is why it's really important to discover your why. It's going to help keep you motivated. Do you want to be in the same situation for your whole life, getting sicker and sicker where you can't do anything and do the things that you want to do in life? Or do you want to work on creating a healthier lifestyle? So you got to figure out your why first.
And what are your long-term goals? That's really important.
Because that's going to help keep you on track. There was a person that was getting ready to come in.
I know. Yeah, go ahead.
So this is really why it's important to create a plan that you can stick to. Pre-planning a routine and setting aside that mental space, reading through it every day so you can execute that plan is really, really important so you don't have to worry about what to do next.
Correct.
Did you want to add to that?
No, just what are your long-term goals and what are your whys? And I think that's important. And when you have a long-term goal, break that down into several short-term goals that lead you there so that you're hitting marks and rewarding yourself along the way, not just looking at something that might be a year or 2 years out.
Right. And by doing those little things, all of a sudden, sometimes you will realize like you're reaching those goals a lot faster. There's a fine line between thinking that you're healthy, being health obsessed, and doing things that are actually helping to create health. So you don't want to be too obsessive about everything that you're putting into your body and all the calories and, oh, I didn't do this or whatever, but you really want to work on just creating those consistent routines that are doing those things on a daily basis.
So years ago, I had this friend that, was in a healthy mindset. And he wasn't very healthy. And so we'd go out to lunch and he'd get cheeseburger and fries and grab a beer, do all those things. And I said to him once, I said, what you're doing is not very healthy. He said, I know. He said, but I'm getting there. He says, and I know that one day when I come out to lunch with you, he says, I'm just going to get a salad and a nice piece of grilled chicken. Well, about 6 months later, he was getting that salad and grilled chicken. And not just for the day, he had transformed his life. But he had his ideals down and his mindset down before he made the switches on everything.
And it's not just going cold turkey, switching everything. Well, some people are really good at that and they'll stick to that forever. You're getting that cheeseburger and fries, right? So do the cheeseburger and then just do a side of vegetables for the first while. The next time do the cheeseburger, but take the bun off with your side of vegetables.
Get cheeseburger on a bed of greens.
There's a lot of ways that you can start doing small steps each day to get the results that you're looking for. I know the phone keeps ringing. People are at the door.
People are pulling on our door. This is great.
I know. So sorry, guys, that we're having a lot of things going on at the moment. It's hard to keep your train of thought when we've got people that are actually going to a different suite, but they're at our door and the phone's ringing.
That's all right.
All right.
It's all good.
So if you have any challenges.
We have some challenges.
Oh, we're like we do, right? Embrace your challenges.
Embrace them.
Right? You may have dreams of running a marathon, learning to meditate, becoming a vegan. I had a few people asking, how do I incorporate a plant-based diet in? But you can't go from 0 to 60. It's not going to happen. You're going to be defeated. You can't do it all in one day.
Think of it like having little kids. You have little kids. Everybody knows with having young kids, there's challenges.
Right.
Okay? But you'll get through those challenges each day. And then what'll happen is 20 years, 30 years from then, you'll wish you were back there and had those challenges. You'll miss them. You might not want them every day, but you'll miss them. And so that's why we say embrace the challenges. It's okay. It's going to happen. We are what they call human.
Ooh.
So we're not perfect, but we do the best we can, and each day strive to do a little more.
Yeah. So start with today. Focus on today, because that's where you're in. What one thing can you add? Can I take a few extra steps? Can I add a few extra squats to my day? Can I add that extra vegetable? Add a vegetable to each meal. It's a simple thing. Start with that. Add an extra glass of water. Then, what am I going to do this week? What am I going to do this month? How am I going to eliminate, some of the processed foods? What am I going to do? How am I going to add that exercise? You want to just start with those one day at a time steps sooner or later, you're going to be like, wow, I've been doing this. I focus each day. By the end of the year, you're going to be feeling better. You're going to be having all those nutrients in your body so you can function as optimally as you're looking to function.
So treat it like a marathon and trust the process. It doesn't have to be done in a day. Start setting the long-term goals and then break it down into short-term goals that are not quite as long. That's why long-term, short-term. But thanks. But anyway, but trust the process. Trust the process of what it's going to be. So for instance, you get a weightlifter that wants to bench 225 pounds, right? Well, they're not going to go to the gym the first day and hit 225 unless they already can do that. They're going to go to the gym and they're going to start off at a certain weight. And each month they're going to look to add a couple pounds. But at some point in time, they'll get up to that 225 if they stick with it.
Right. And in a society right now, we're so accustomed to expecting high-speed internet. I need it right now. The next day delivery. I need instant gratification. So you need to prepare yourself for delayed gratification. You're not going to lose 20 pounds in a week. It's never going to happen. You didn't gain 20 pounds in a day. You're not going to lose 20 pounds in a day. So you can't expect dramatic results in a short period of time. But what you can expect is by doing those things consistently over a long period of time, you will get the results that you're looking for.
So I had a conversation with a patient last week, consultation online, and one of her big things was in her first 3 weeks of care, she only lost 5.6 pounds. And I said, what's the matter? She goes, well, I expected a lot more. I said, well, your expectations are a little higher than what your body physiologically can handle.
Right, I can't do that.
I said, that's a lot of weight loss, for the first couple weeks. I said, what you need to understand is a healthy body hormonally can lose a half to a pound, maybe a pound and a half a week if it's healthy. I said, and you're averaging about a pound and a half, a little more than that in 3 weeks. And so I then asked her, said, how long did it take you to put all this weight on? And she looked at me through the camera. She stopped and paused and she said, well, it was about 2 decades.
Yeah.
So you're not going to do 2 decades or 3 decades of dysfunction and ill health overnight. It's going to take some time.
No, if you want to be healthy for a really long time, then you have to be in it for the long haul. You have to be continual with the choices that you're making. And we are very confident to help you with that task. This is something, if you're not sure where to start, you're not sure where to begin, what to eat, what nutrition you need in your body that's going to be right for you, we're here to help you achieve those results and get the results that you're looking for. So if you need help to get your health on track, give us a call.
Keep going. You're doing great.
I thought you were going to say something. You got to have that.
No,
you did this. So I'm like, okay.
Go.
Are you going to say
You're on a
something?
roll.
All right. Well,
In the office.
In the office?
In the office, we're offering a heart sound recorder.
Yes, we are. So this month as well, we are offering a heart sound recorder reading for only $47, which includes your consultation. We would check the 4 valves of your heart using something called a heart sound recorder, and it also includes your report of findings so you can see the function of the heart.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people are suffering from the high blood pressure, diabetes, heart issues, and we can look at that and help feed your body, get you on the right track for only $47.
You know what I love about the heart sound recorder?
What?
It's a very simple, non-invasive test. Takes less than 5 minutes to do. Inexpensive.
Yep.
And it tells us about 80% of the function of the heart. But there's an expensive test that you have to go and get hooked up with wires and gizmos and stuff that only tells us about 6% of the function of the heart.
Yeah.
And they charge $1,500 for that one.
I know, it's crazy.
Nuts.
If you're looking for something a little more than that and you want to go forward with a full nutritional check so we can see what is going on with your body, why it's not functioning the way that you want it to function, we will do that also this month. That is normally $300, but we are also offering that for $150. Now that includes the heart sound recorder reading. So if you're like, hey, I want to see the function of my heart, but I also want to know what nutrition do I need? What is my body lacking? Why are certain things not functioning the way that I want them to? Why is my blood pressure staying high even though I'm on blood pressure medication? And how do I lower that cholesterol? We would be very happy to help you go through all of that That includes your full exam, heart sound recorder reading, and your report of findings, where we have a full printout for you to go over all of your
So
results.
the recordings that I did in the last couple of weeks regarding the heart, two of them I mentioned blood pressure readings with patients that had very high blood pressure. And two of those patients were on blood pressure medication, even with that high blood
They
pressure.
were, which is crazy. That's why they're coming to see us, so they can help lower that. And they're having this high blood pressure experience even on a couple. So it's really crazy when we do help to get that lowered without the medication. I mean, obviously they're on it
Safe and
until,
naturally.
yes, they're on it until their blood pressure gets down, and then they can work with their doctor to actually get off of those medications and continue to keep their blood pressure
I wonder
down.
where you're going with that.
Yes.
All
Well,
right.
that's the end of our time
big thank you.
together today, and it's the beginning of your journey.
Beginning of a new, stronger you.
Exactly. So just want to remind you that our team is here to help you with any questions that you have. Be sure to message us in the comments if you have any questions, or if you are interested in joining a challenge group that we had talked about earlier in this class. We're all here to help schedule you your free consultation, and if you're looking to go forward with a heart sound recorder testing or a full nutritional exam, which includes that, we would be happy to help get you scheduled.
Take that first step.
So thank you for spending time with us. I'm Amy
I'm Dr. Dave
from Shores Wellness Solutions, and we want to be your inspiration.
for healthy living.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Have a great
Bye.